Good evening and welcome to Yoga Journeys. So my name is Yvonne O'Garro, and this is More Yoga's way of connecting us through lockdown. And then this started up, the Yoga Journeys came on the back of the Black Lives Matter protest in the summer, where I was asked to host a space. And I decided that the space I wanted to host was to give a platform to yogis of color and hear their journey, so amplifying melanated voices. So I am really pleased this evening to welcome my cousin. We'll find out why that is. Okay. The wonderful Jae Gibbs.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thank you.
So,
you let me know when you want us to drop that story.
Yeah, well, maybe whenever you feel it's right, so you'll explain why we're cousins, we believe. Okay. Anyway, so before I ask the same questions that I asked to all the yogis of color, first of all, would you like to just introduce yourself? How would you do your 30-second lift pitch?
Oh, goodness.
You're Jae Gibbs. How do you introduce yourself?
Well, I'm Jae Gibbs. I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
I'm not a spring chicken.
None of us are anymore.
I've been around a bit. I am a yoga teacher. Mm-hmm. I am also a brand marketing expert. They are moving into that word expert at the moment.
Amazing.
Seeing how that fits at the moment. And I kind of spend my time between the two, and aligning those. So I would also say I am a curious explorer.
Ooh, that sounds fascinating.
An observer and a questioner.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so are you ready for the Yoga Journeys questions?
Can I just shout out before we start?
You do whatever you want. This is your conversation. Do whatever you want. Who are you shouting out?
My brother V, who's rocked up for now.
Oh, hey V.
Ages.
And there's somebody else joining as well, Mr. Gibbs.
Oh, that's my other half.
Oh, hello, Mr. Gibbs. This is wonderful. Yeah, it's a family affair. Amazing.
Family affair. Yeah. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, so the first of the Yoga Journeys questions. Honoring our ancestors, please tell us your family lineage.
Okay, so I'm mixed. My lineage is English, European. I think there's some Celtish blood somewhere in there, Scottish and Irish and English, I believe. On my mum's side. And then on my dad's side, I am Caribbean. And again, there's some Irish blood in there. And when we can talk about, well, we'll talk about it now. Maybe it's a good time to talk about it.
I thought so. But I'll let you decide.
My dad is from a small island in the Caribbean called Montserrat, which is a volcanic island, a live volcano. Mm-hmm. The old man keeps grumbling. And
yes.
And there is and Yvonne is also from the same island. So
yes, indeed.
Very likely that with only about 5,000 people on the island at the moment, that we are possibly related.
Yeah, I reckon we possibly are, most definitely. So that's why we say we're cousins, because same family heritage from, both my parents were from Montserrat.
Yeah. And
so keep going.
We were talking about our surnames, because my maiden name is Gibbons.
Okay.
Irish name.
Yeah, that's one of my cousin's names. Yeah.
Okay, see, there you go. So
and mine is O'Garro. So say no more. But anyway, enough about me. You carry on.
Yeah, so that's my lineage. So if we track that further back, you know, it would go back to somewhere in West Africa.
Mhm.
I haven't done that in-depth work yet. I haven't traced back. It's very difficult. I tried to actually. I did some research into some of the plantations that were on the island,
Mhm.
and particularly because my dad is from Dyers.
Mhm.
So and I found there was a plantation which was the Dyers family plantation. So there you go. This is where the names start coming from.
That's right. Yeah.
And and I found records which said that, you know, there was a certain amount of slaves owned on the plantation at set times. And so there's that work is heavy. So I take that step by step. But at some point I'll do the genealogy, you know, I'll see if I can at least find the area or country.
Yeah.
Where
I forget which test there is. A friend of mine said there was a test that broke it down by country because her husband did it, and I think she'd done one, and then like my one 23andMe, it just said like West Africa. I didn't break it down any further, so I'll see if I can find the name and let you know.
Yeah, I know the name because I looked into it, and the irony is that if you're a woman, you have to track through your maternal lineage.
Right. Okay.
So I can't do that. So actually, my brother would have to do that for me.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Find that out.
Did you hear that, bro? You need to do that for sis.
Yeah, well, he's not here.
Another bro. Okay.
But when he's watching, when he's on catch up,
okay.
I can let him know. And shout out to Asha and Audrey.
Wonderful. Yeah, the family is growing. Okay, love it.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. So as we move on, where, when, and with whom was your first yoga class?
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because, you know, as I said, I'm in my 40s, so the mind, you know, the memory is a bit hazy. And I know it was in 2002 at some point in that year.
2002, okay.
Yeah, so like 18
long time.
And it was, I'm afraid to say the name, but it was Bikram yoga back in the day.
Yeah, we all got caught with Bikram at some point.
That was my introduction, and actually Audrey, who's on the line here as well, and on the call here as well, I found out about Bikram through her because she had been, and and the reason I went is because I was in this transitional period. I'd just come out of this relationship that I'd been in since I was 17.
Wow. Okay.
So all of my adult life, you know, I'd been with someone else, and I had a child at 20. So I was a mum, and I'd come out, and I just, it was really destabilizing. I kind of I was doing a lot of reflection, like, who am I? Feeling quite lost, actually. And, you know, in that stage of what next and what do I do? And I just felt like I needed to breathe. I just needed some space. I don't know if I consciously knew I needed to breathe, but I just needed something. And my friend Audrey had said, you know, she'd been before, and she talked about how good it was. So they were doing, you know, free introduction, you know, or 2 weeks for £30 or something, you know.
20 days.
Exactly. And it was in Queen's Park, near where I lived. So, you know, I just walked down there, signed up, did my first class, sweated my ass off. I was like, what is this? But it was something, and and I noticed, you know, the feeling that I got. And I think initially it was just somewhere to go where I could just be with myself, really. After the initial, you know, couple of classes where I'm looking around thinking, oh my God, I can't do that, and I can't do this, and, you know, and all out there. There were, you know, there was, I remember actually Shavasana, and just being able to lie and do nothing and it be okay, like actually just be okay. And I thought, okay, I'm coming back, and I can't remember the exact teacher, but I want to remember. This is really bad. I should remember.
It's okay. It's a long time ago. You remember the year, so that's good. You remember the year.
It will come to, his name's Pete Cherry.
Pete Cherry.
Yeah.
Okay. Is he still practicing?
That's the first teacher I remember where I was like, okay, this is it. This is me. Like, okay, I'm kind of into this. And yeah, I did that for like 5 years straight.
Wow. No other type of yoga. Wow. Okay, 5 years.
Yeah, it's quite, you know, well, I don't know if we want to get into that conversation, but it's quite.
It's your conversation. Whatever you want to get into, you get into.
Okay. Well,
if it's part of,
addictive.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
The whole thing, and the energy of it, and, you know, it's an entry in.
Yes.
But yeah. Once I started to explore a bit further and a bit deeper, you know, I moved away from that style of practice.
What did you move into from the Bikram? What was the style?
Ashtanga.
Okay.
Yes. And again, that got quite addictive. So obviously I have an addictive personality. But yeah, I moved into Ashtanga. I wouldn't say I've ever been an Ashtangi as much, but I've been through, you know, I've brushed with that. And I actually trained. I know we're going to get into that, but that's what I trained in.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Marvelous. So when did you realize you wanted to teach?
Goodness. Yeah, a long time after, really. I think I began to get curious. I mean, it had done so much. My practice, after I started to expand out of Bikram and move into other styles. So I went into Ashtanga, but also Vinyasa. You know, I did the rounds, a bit of Iyengar. You know,
whole cocktail of yoga.
You know, a bit later on, restorative and you know, yin as well. Did the rounds, and yeah, I suppose it just became such a core part of my self-management and self-regulation. I had some breaks. I was working from about, well, there's two things actually. You've just reminded me. So one of the reasons I moved away from Bikram and started to explore other things, or actually shifted away from it permanently, was because I in 2005 I had a emergency, oh, this can sound, it always sounds so dramatic, but like an emergency brain operation.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
So that story goes that I had been having migraines since I was about 17.
Right.
My brother Vance was there the first time I had a migraine. So yeah, it's part of the story. And yeah, so I'd had these migraines, but had just been living with them. And then 2005, I started having some different stuff going on, like when I had the migraine, like not being able to speak and just random things. Yeah. But not like just kind of, oh, it's just like brushing it aside. But went to the doctors and they said, oh, we better give you a scan. And so they'd sent me for tests and everything seemed fine. And then I was due to have this scan. But before I had the scan, I was with my boyfriend at the time, my now husband, Marcus. And I kind of went into, well, I had a migraine, but look, I don't have much recollection of that time.
Wow.
So for a whole weekend, I've kind of lost my memory. And he had taken me to hospital, and it was very, it was quite touch and go at one point, got rushed in an ambulance. And yeah, they discovered that I had a cyst on my brain. So had to take me into emergency and operate. And luckily it was fluid filled. They released it, they released the pressure, and I was able to recover.
Wow.
But yeah, actually.
Thank goodness.
Yes. I mean,
I don't know how come this story's never come up before. But anyway, yeah.
Because it's not something you just
thank you for sharing. Yeah, thank you for sharing now.
But yeah, we're here. I said I was going to do this, so here we are. So that's
your journey. Wow.
Yeah, and that changed everything.
Not surprised.
That changed everything.
Wow.
And there was a big awakening after that. Just an obvious and an appreciation for life.
Yeah, I hear you.
Just life itself. And so, yeah, but a consequence of that is that I still do get the migraines because it's an ongoing, it's a chronic condition. So I'll always have some fluid-filled cysts there, but they're being managed, let's say.
Right. Okay.
And we monitor, like we know they're there, so we can monitor them. But what that means is that I'm hypersensitive to being dehydrated or tired or anything like that, which is good. I call it's my warning. It's like my warning system. It keeps me healthy, really. I think it saved me actually, because I might just be, whiling otherwise. And so, yeah, that meant just going somewhere like Bikram just wasn't going to work. It just didn't work for me anymore.
Right.
But by then I'd already started transitioning, I started exploring other things by then, and that kind of put a lid on it. Hot yoga, even now I won't teach in a hot studio,
right?
Just because it just doesn't work for me. Yeah, I've forgotten that.
This is your sharing when you realised you wanted to start to teach.
Oh, right. So yeah, I think so. Part of the coming back from that as well, getting back to being able to move my body and connect with myself. It's always been about that for me, really. And the root in is physical, but actually very quickly the mental and emotional, energetic aspects, I really felt the benefit of those quite quickly. And I really felt how I was much more just stable when I was practicing regularly. You know, I just didn't feel so emotionally
more grounded.
Yeah, more grounded, rooted, healthier, happier, just clearer. And so I had some breaks, because then I started my corporate career, if you like, and that was pretty intense pretty quickly. And so there were these breaks in my practice, but I just noticed every time I came back to my practice, I really noticed the benefits of it throughout, not just on the mat, you know, throughout my life. And I suppose that's when I started to think, you know, I would love for other people to be able to benefit from this. This is too good for me to keep it to myself and not share it. And how could I share it? And then there was, you know, the questioning and, oh, but this, you know, would I be able to do it? And, you know, and I put it off for a while. And actually, Pete Cherry, this is interesting, actually. You're making me think about this.
I'm glad to be of service.
Because Pete Cherry taught at another studio that I practiced at when I moved to West London, when I moved to Acton, a studio called Yoga West. Shout out to Yoga West, shout out to James.
Okay.
So when I started really getting back into my practice, that's where I was practicing, and bucked up on Pete again. And I'm not sure, it was a long time ago, so there's no way he would remember me. But he said to me, have you ever, after a class one day, he said, have you ever thought about teaching? And that stuck with me.
Yes.
And it was like planting a seed somewhere in there that just, it kind of kept, you know, growing. And so then when I got redundancy in 2015, I was so ready to jump out of the corporate world. I was just,
so how long from when Pete Cherry sowed the seed of the have you thought about teaching to the 2015?
About 5 years.
Okay. Yeah.
About 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. So the seed is sown. So when, where, and with whom was your first teacher training?
So I took redundancy, went to India.
Yay.
Went to India for a month. And I trained with Samyak Yoga, who are based just outside of Mysore in an ashram there. And that was life-changing again, because it just got fully immersed into the yogic lifestyle. Practice every day, you know, waking up at 6 o'clock every day, mantra, asana practice, meditation, kirtan, like fully just immersed into it. And it was amazing. It was, even just talking about it, I can feel, you know, that was such a amazing, rich time in my life. And again, that was a big transition, you know, that was a significant transition coming out of the career that I'd been trying to build for so long, and kind of realizing actually that's, you know, that's not the promised land. You know, the promised land that you're told to follow, you know, that's the path that's going to give you all the happiness and success and all the, you know, everything that society believes or leads us to believe, let's say. So yeah, and I went, and I don't know if I thought I was gonna be a teacher straight away. But I was just called. It was a calling to go. And at first I was looking at courses here to train here, and I had a conversation with my cousin-in-law, Eloise, and she had said something about looking in India, and that again, seed planted, and within a month I was gone.
Oh wow, that quick.
Yeah.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah. I was just ready. I was just ready. And I just thought, you know what, I'd done a bit of traveling on my own with work, but not on my own.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was just ready to do something for me, and to kind of also prove to myself that I could do that for me.
Yeah.
You know, that I could do something on my own.
How did that feel?
Scary and exciting.
Yeah.
Both, you know, I think those are the two different sides of the same thing. You know, like I was saying, excited and a bit nervous. They're two sides of the same thing. So I was ready to just explore what that could be. And yeah, that was a deep awakening that I talk about it as that opened the door to something that I was on the threshold of it for a long time, had lots of questions about, you know, my spirituality, which I wouldn't have called it at that point. But, you know, I had this personal belief around oneness, and that we're all connected, and, you know, all this yoga philosophy that I didn't know was yoga philosophy.
Right. Okay. Right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I hadn't got that, you know, I'd read a little bit, but I hadn't really got deeply into it. So when I did my training, it just opened up all the answers to the questions that I'd been having. And the conversations, or philosophical conversations in the evening, I was just like, where have you been? I needed to explore all of this. All this stuff has been going on in my mind. And it was like a release for all of that stuff. I mean, and there's still loads of stuff that's always going on in my mind as well. But
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So how many people were on the training in India?
Oh, goodness. I want to say 17.
7-0 or 1-7?
1-7.
Oh, wow.
17.
Okay.
Yeah. Because everyone stayed there. It's residential.
Right. Okay.
So you're living together, you know, for a month.
Okay.
It's an amazing setup, actually. We had our own rooms, and, you know, beautiful. It was lovely, and in the middle of like sugarcane fields.
Wow.
And, like farms, and actually it's in the same compound as a Gurukulam for traditional studies for girls.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it was really amazing. Right by a river as well, so you just go and sit at the river and meditate and stuff. Amazing.
Yeah, you can see you're lighting up just remembering.
Yeah, it's an amazing place. One day I'll go back. One day.
Yeah. Be good. So can you recall from the 17 people, how many people of color were on the training? You Google it.
So there was me. No, actually, so there was me. Oh, I'm going to forget people's names. There's another woman mixed, and a guy mixed, and a South Asian. guy.
Okay.
So
4 or 5 out of 17.
Four of us out of 17.
Okay.
I don't know what I don't know if that's, I mean,
we know
you've been speaking to other people. What's
it's
that
always
ratio
a smaller
like?
proportion. It's never, we're not surprised that it's 50-50. It's a long time till we see that. That said, as TTs are ongoing in later years, the mix is slightly higher. But from now, hopefully going forward, studios will be recording, whereas I've tried to get the data, but unsurprisingly, it's not been recorded. Going forward, we'll be able to get much richer data to be able to record it.
But what I'm interested to see, like I've watched a couple of other of the interviews, but not all of them. I'm interested to see, is that reflective of what most people have said? Yeah,
most definitely. It's always the smaller proportion. As I say, there's never like 20% or anything like that. It's as you would expect. But maybe we watch this in 10 years time or something. It's like
let's hope
different conversation, because we'll see. We have hope. So talking of hope, let's move on to the highs and lows of the wellness industry. So if I can invite you to share the lows first, if there are any for you, and then end with the highs. Till I get comfortable.
Okay, so the first thing that comes to mind actually is I thought I was leaving corporate world competitive, everyone kind of competing for their space, and I thought I was leaving that behind.
Okay.
In my, yoga teaching, and I found the exact opposite. Actually, it felt even more competitive, which was intimidating. Auditioning for classes, and having to approach you always have to apply for jobs. That's, I don't need to tell you that. But, you have to apply for jobs as part of it. But the way that you can be kind of put against another teacher and do, I've been put into trials against other teachers, and then you're kind of competing for that spot, and I just wasn't expecting that. And it may not seem like it because I've been yabbering, but I am actually an introvert, and also not the most confident all the time. So it feels really intimidating to go into that in that way.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. It's, you're making yourself quite vulnerable, actually, feels. So yeah, I found that challenging. And I also thought, like I've been not paid by studios.
Seriously? Wow.
I've had to threaten
legal action.
Yeah.
See, in the corporate world, you wouldn't really get away with that. It's like...
No, you couldn't.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be, peace, love.
Yeah, exactly.
Peace, love, and light. And then, and it's a business.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a business. And that's, okay, we're living in a capitalist structure. Which forces competition. That's what it's about. It's competition, and it's a service-based industry, if you like. But just ethically and morally, the way in which some of the behavior of studios, it needs to be examined. It needs to be refined. Let's say there's a balance between operating a business and exploitation.
Yeah.
I mean, teachers, don't get paid great money for our time. And the way that you can get away with that is because no one goes into teaching yoga for the money, right?
I hear you. Yeah.
You go in because it's vocation, because you want to help people.
Yes, you want to share, as you say, share the benefits of what you've got.
Yeah, you want to spread that. You want more people to feel the benefits, because you see, or I see, that if more people could benefit from practices of yoga, and that's not just the asana and it's not just the movement practices, meditation, breathing, pranayama. There's so much that you could do just and get the benefit of it really simply. And really that's what, I would love for more people to be able to access the practice. Especially people of color.
Absolutely.
Especially people of color, because the benefits are there. All the stats all over the news headlines, disproportionate this, disproportionate that.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
But there's so much to benefit from these practices that I just feel like accessibility is a big challenge for the industry, for the wellness industry as a whole, because it has become, it's a victim, or it's been co-opted by capitalism. And if we want to go there, I'm training with Leila Sadeghee. So we'll go there with the white supremacy as well. And it's very white middle class, very privileged. And everyone should be able to benefit. So those, I've gone quite in with the lows.
It's fine. It's your journey. This is whatever you want to share. So you share what you want to share. That's your lows. Okay.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with it. There's some work to do, and this year it's highlighted that.
Yes.
And I think they're in different degrees. There are efforts being made.
Yes, I would agree. I would agree with you.
Just hope they're genuine.
Yes, and sustained.
And so,
do you have
highs? Let me get to the highs. Highs are just being able to teach. Really, just just seeing when I see someone breathe in a different way. You can kind of see when someone releases something.
Yes.
It's more the little things that really touch me.
Yes.
And I was able to a couple of years ago, I was able to teach some classes for a charity organization called Claudia Jones Organization. We work with women of African and Caribbean origin. And working with those women, oh man, that was rich, because we were doing simple things, right? We were just doing a bit of movement, a bit of breath, but just seeing them being able to just be still for a time, give themselves permission to just be still and breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was so powerful, actually. So it's the simplest things for me that are high. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Mm.
So what got you through lockdown? And I now have to change this question slightly. So what got you through the first lockdown, and how is this second lockdown been for you?
Oh, I think everyone's over lockdown, aren't they? To be fair, what has got me through lockdown is my practice.
Yeah.
My practice, therapy, therapy every week, places to release,
yes,
places to breathe, places to feel safe, and community.
yes,
we've got our community going, and even virtual community just made me reframed connection, what connection is for me.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Because at first I was like, teaching online, no.
Yeah.
And that's not what I do, I don't do that. I'm in the room with people. I want to get that live experience, right? And the connection, you really get connection.
Yes.
So it just reframed it for me. So I think that's people got me through lockdown, actually.
Excellent. And has this lockdown been easier, in inverted commas, because you had, you've built on what you learned from the first lockdown with connection?
I suppose so. To be honest, I'm like, what lockdown?
Okay, it hasn't felt okay.
Because I've been I didn't really come out of lockdown,
right?
I would say massively, a little bit, but stayed, was being quite, subdued, actually. So, but then I live with people. I don't live on my own, so I recognize that. I also have space. I can get myself away from those people temporarily as well when I need to, right? That's also
and vice versa.
Well, they never want to be away from me.
Okay.
So I recognize that is a different experience than living on your own, let's say.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So in that way, I feel quite grateful, actually.
So moving on to George Floyd, may he rest in peace. So in the wake of Black Lives Matter protests and everybody diversifying their feed, how many additional followers did you get? And did you have many studios approaching you to diversify their team?
So when I read this question, I thought this is an interesting one.
Why so, cuz?
Because, so obviously, I'm a person of color, right? But I'm not the darkest person of color. And I don't think I'm sexy enough.
What?
I don't think I'm sexy enough. I mean, I don't mean sexy. I mean, in terms of, am I black enough?
Right. Oh, I see. So the colorism thing.
I don't know, because my numbers went up a little bit. I saw a certain demographic coming on board, so I did see that. I did see that, but there's no one beating down my door.
Okay. So you didn't have studios approaching you?
No, okay. I didn't. No, if I'm honest, no. Okay. So maybe, yeah, I don't know what that's. Maybe because I'm quite quiet on Instagram, or I have been this year, definitely.
Yeah. Because you know we're in the Yogis of Color group, and there was a couple of messages sometimes popped in there to say this studio's wanting to diversify and that studio wants to diversify and apply, but I didn't know if anybody had approached you directly.
No one's approached me directly, but you're right, there were studios saying, okay, we're diversifying, we recognize and we're diversifying, but I didn't I just wasn't in the space to jump on that at that time, and I was also a bit like
just now.
Now it's okay. Which is, that's not positive attitude to take, but I'm being honest. That's
I hear you. I hear you.
I was being petty.
It's not petty. I don't know. I wouldn't agree it's petty. I agree it was because I had the same thought process. I think many of us did. It's like now, but hands are up, and another example of sustained. So let's see. Right. So before we open up the floor for Q&A, what's the rest of 2020 looking like for you? I know it's only a month, but I started this in July. So what's the rest of the year looking like for you? What are you looking forward to in 2021? So this is the point where you can plug whatever you want to plug, promote whatever you want to promote.
Okay, so the rest of 2021, I'm currently in teacher training.
Okay.
Oh, 2020 even, just get rid of a year. Can't do that. I'm in teacher training with Leila Sadeghee. So that, we're finishing up on that because of the lockdown and everything that's going to run.
What is the focus of this training?
Oh goodness, so it's the leadership, the practices of leadership and empowerment.
Okay.
Put that back because I should know that. And so actually you came and right at the beginning, or when we were on immersion, you came taught us.
I did. Do you remember?
Of course. Came and taught us a really luxurious restorative practice. It was really, and it's that was beautiful. Thank you. Yeah. So that was right at the beginning of the journey, and now we're coming to the end of the journey. So also I would say that's what's kept me going this year actually through lockdown is teacher training, because it's really allowed me to be the student. And wow, Leila is just a force. It's just a power. I'm learning so much, and it's just expanding everything for me. Still absorbing a lot. So I'm going to be trying to absorb as much of that before we go into our final phase, which will be in January. So that's probably what I'll be doing, and chilling.
Amazing. Great.
Over the festive season, I'm going to take some time, self-care.
Excellent.
Look after myself.
What does your self-care practice look like? Give us some examples of typical self-care for you.
Nice practice, kind of intuitive practice, whatever that looks like on the day. Could be asana, could be meditation, could be ritual. And just really taking my time with that, a bit of journaling probably, just getting, and just connecting back, and just reflecting and kind of getting a feel of where I'm at. That's what, yeah, self-care looks like. Maybe a bath with some candles and yeah, that's what it looks like at the moment.
So where can everyone find you? Are you teaching weekly?
Interesting. So not at the moment, I will be back in the new year.
Okay. So when you're starting back in the new year?
No set date. I'm gonna finish training.
Yeah.
And then I'll be back. So it'll be, at the latest, it'll be by February. I'll be back.
Okay.
And where do I teach? So quite likely it's going to be online. So I teach from home. And I'm going to bring back, if we can start meeting more in groups, I do something, I hold a circle called Soulful Sisterhood. And we do that around the moon cycle once a quarter. And yeah, that is for women of color. And we meet as a circle, and we, it's not straight up asana practice, you know, we do it's a bit of journaling, a bit of reflection, might burn some stuff, you know, share some stories. So that,
I'd love to come to that. I'd love to come to next one in New Year.
Yvonne, I'd be honoured if you came. Definitely, I'd be honoured. So yeah, so I'm hoping, you know, we just have to see how
wait and see
settles. And
when it's legal and safe to do so, as the saying goes.
This is it.
Yeah, indeed. So before I open the floor, any last final thoughts, comments, anything you forgot to share earlier, anything you want to elaborate on? Or are you just happy to have the Q&A?
Yeah, that's too much brain work. That's too much brain work.
No worries. Okay. So good people in the Zoom room tonight. So welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting Jae and I. So you're welcome to ask any questions. You're welcome to come off mute and ask directly, or you can type it into chat box and I will read it out. No pressure. Aisha had said, hi ladies, earlier.
Hi, Aisha.
Hey, Miss Tawny.
Hey, Tawny.
Hi, ladies. So such a wonderful conversation to just be a part of and witness. And I want to say, Jae, I'm also going to put my hand up to say I want to come to this women's circle whenever you're going to be hosting that. So please let me know.
Oh, I'd love to have you. Yes, yes, yes.
I wanted to ask, I've got lots of questions, but I don't want to take up all the time. But I wanted to ask, what advice would you give to someone, particularly a person of color, who might be wanting to take a yoga class, but not sure where to go, might find a yoga studio quite intimidating, maybe unwelcoming? What sort of advice would you give to that first time beginner yogi that is seeking some kind of self-practice, but doesn't really know where to go?
So I would say not all yoga is in the studio. First of all, there's many teachers that teach outside of studios. So if a studio environment feels quite intimidating, where would you find the teachers? I would, you know, quite present on Instagram if you're that way inclined. How else would you find them? It's a good question. It's a very good question. I mean, I don't know. Yoga Alliance. I would search well, we're working on something, maybe, aren't we?
Aren't we?
Possibly.
Aren't we? Yeah. What it is to be decided. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we're working on something that will help people source, where to find teachers of color. There's so many of us. The WhatsApp group alone that we're in is like over 100 yogis in there.
Yeah, the big group is over 100. In fact, I'm going to go in it and just say exactly how many is in the group. In the big group.
And it keeps
our
growing.
smaller group is 19. Our smaller group.
Yeah.
But the bigger group is, hold the line, caller. It's called, I can't find it. Drum roll. 128.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that's not all.
No, it's not all.
No.
That's just our group. I know there's other groups, yoga's, because I'm in a smaller group called Nubinis, and I think there's another, you're in Nubinis as well. Yeah. It's about 20, another 20 in there. I mean, some of it, to be fair, is doubled up.
Yeah.
And I know there's other groups, there's groups on Instagram, Yogas of Color. So we are out there. Like, it's just a case of finding. So
yeah. And so that's what I would say, is it's not just in the studio, there is a wider, and I mean, online now you can find a lot of teachers online because of 2020 and everything, and so that could be a place to start and then build out from there.
My follow-up question before I come off now and let anyone else ask is, when you do set up your classes, maybe on Zoom, maybe online, what style of yoga will you be offering? Because I know you talked about practicing Bikram and Ashtanga, but I'm not sure if I caught what style of yoga
What style? Oh, good question. Yeah.
Good question, Tawny. Good question.
Yeah.
See, I was listening. I was paying attention.
Yeah, it's a little test to see who's listening. Very good, very good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, I don't teach Ashtanga anymore. No, that's right. I do not. It's a very good question. Thank you. What do I teach? I suppose I would say I teach a blend of Hatha and Vinyasa, but you will probably get some restorative postures thrown in towards the end. Yeah, some slower, longer restorative at the end. It's kind of a bit of a mishmash of what has I should say something. What's worked for me, but also to give a balanced class, really, and to allow people to switch into their rest and restore part of their nervous system, really.
Yes.
And yeah, the more I explore that side of things, the more trauma informed yoga I'm moving towards. We're covering it with Leila, and definitely becoming more aware of, we're all walking around, and I've heard this said, we're just trying to regulate our nervous system,
especially right now.
Yeah. Have you heard Dr. Gail Parker's book? She writes about how restorative yoga can help race-based ethnicity and trauma.
Yeah,
fantastic book. Working my way through.
Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, it's still on my shelf. I'm working my way through so many books, but yeah, so powerful. There's so much benefit for people of color who have are carrying so much, let's say.
It's interesting because one of the points she actually makes is absolutely, yes, people of color are carrying trauma, but she's saying everybody, no matter your background, has an element of trauma, simply because if you've been silent, seeing something go on and you've not spoken up, you're still carrying that. Like, I should have, I would have, could I? And that is still in the body, and that can cause trauma or anxiety. So that has to be released no matter who you are, almost, where that practice that actually helps.
100% agree. We're all walking with, you know, we're all carrying something. I think, you know, racialized trauma.
Yes. Yeah. And
because of the oppressive structures, the way in which you can release that particular type of trauma is quite limited.
Yes,
you know?
Indeed.
Having safe spaces to do that.
Yes, absolutely. Hence, we're trying to come up with something.
Yes.
Do you have another question, Tawny?
No, I'm going to open it up to everyone else, but thank you so much, ladies.
You're most welcome.
Thank you, Tawny. It's so good to see you.
So Aisha looks like she had to jump off, but her message is, thank you, Jae, such an inspiring story, and look forward to the next Women's Alliance group.
Okay.
So good, people.
Hey, Em, I'm seeing Emma's asking, what is the name of the book?
It is, let me grab it, hold the line. Next question while I grab the book.
Someone ask a question. It's all my peeps. Is anyone going to come on screen? No.
It is Restorative Yoga for Ethnic and Race-Based Stress and Trauma by Dr. Gail Parker. An amazing, amazing teacher.
Yeah.
She's like in her 60s now and just sharing so much wonderfulness.
Yeah, and I would say
fascinating.
She's got some, you know, she's been interviewed on YouTube, and I definitely, if even before you get the book, watch an interview with her, watch her speak, you know, how she speaks about it is really,
I haven't seen that on YouTube actually.
Yeah, it really, you know, so many things connected and landed when I
okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if there are no more questions out there, we will thank you so much for sharing your wonderful story. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. No, I was proud to have you. Inspired. So yeah, great to hear your story, and yeah, look forward to joining an evening with you in the new year.
Yes, let's
indeed, yeah, when we're allowed to do so.
Change, well, it is, you know, change is constant, so at some point we will move through this and it will become something else. Absolutely.
And this too will pass, as one of the sayings go.
Exactly.
Or like the Vipassana and you know, meditation, it's all arising and passing, it's all impermanent, nothing stays.
Exactly.
Indeed.
What a way to finish.
Indeed. So thank you so much, Jae. Blessings to you. And thank you to everybody for tuning in. We wish you well. Have a wonderful rest of day, evening, depending what time you're watching the replay. So thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.